Whew, it's so far. What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm talking about the Rokinon 10mm t3.1. T, not F. T-stop, like tea, you know, you drink. T-stop. Not only am I talking about the lens, I'm talking about me adapting it to the Panasonic GH5. Can you do it? Let's find out. So I'm using the Rokinon 10mm t3.1 on the Panasonic GH5. What? How is that working? Can you do it? Technically no, actually. But there's some things I've done to where I can actually use it, and I'm gonna explain it to you. You know, right now after this plane takes off, I'm at an airport. So, if you're wondering what's going on. But it's nice to be able to have a wide lens like right now, because look how wide this is. It's crazy. You guys have already seen my other video. If you haven't done so already, there's a little title card up in the corner for you to check out. I hacked my lens. Literally, I hacked it with the saw. Feels so wrong. Because this lens is a little too wide for the Panasonic GH5. This lens is for an APS-C body. Alright, so this lens actually can't really use the in-body stabilization like the GH5 has. The wideness, it warps it and does weird things. Plus, as you're moving the camera around, you actually see the side pieces. I improved it. I'm still thinking I'm gonna hack a little bit more off and see how that looks, but you cannot use the in-body stabilization regardless. I've tried it. I mean, unless you want to crop in, you're still gonna get that barrel like warpage. When you're shooting normally, you actually don't get any sort of like weird bending around the sides. So the big question is, more importantly, I looked online, I didn't really see much about it. Can you use this lens with a speed booster? Specifically for the GH5. GH5 is a micro four thirds, this lens is for an APS-C, but the speed booster is also a crop reducer. You're actually gaining back some of the crop and it puts it in frame a little bit, especially when you're taking pictures. It's more than a little bit, it's actually a lot of it. So if you're planning on using this for pictures, I'm sorry, you will have to crop like a lot. So there are a lot of downsides to using this lens. There is no threading, can't put on any ND filters. Lens hood, you can't take it off. It's 100% permanent to the lens. That's been the issue of the warping and weird things that are happening on the corners. Full manual, that could be a negative thing to this lens. If you're not into full manual, this probably isn't a good lens for you. So the other thing I learned about this lens, which could also be a negative depending on how you like your videos to look, I think the footage actually looks more cinematic. If you're looking in the corners and off to the side, things are quite sharp. I don't know, it has this different feel to it. It looks more like a film, a little more cinematic. I don't, maybe that's just me, but I think the whole tone of the image that I'm getting out of this lens just makes it look more like a movie. And the other thing is, this is a prime lens, so you cannot zoom, so that could also be a negative depending on, again, your shooting style. But then again, I'm kind of digging the lens. Now, I can't get a lot of the B-roll stuff that I really like to do. I can't get any of that lens compression, but I'm still really digging this style. Now, the last couple things I want to go over with this lens is the focusing. The focusing is very interesting. Focus pull on this is like, it's insane. I'll show you in just a second. But also the minimum focus distance is insane. I'll show you the focus pull first. And it's a smooth progression from in focus to out of focus. On most lenses, when you start focusing, it's like super sensitive. Your subject is in and out of focus really quickly. This one, you have a lot of room. You have a lot of play, if you will, in the focus where if you move it, it's only going to come out very slightly. It's not that noticeable, and that's because this is a cine lens with a video in mind. Check this out. I'm going to just slowly move the focus ring. So that's at infinity. So now I'm going to go all the way. Look how smooth that is. That's wild. It's pretty fun. I like it. Now the focusing distance, like I can get like all the way up here. It's hard to tell if I'm in focus because I can barely see the screen. It's over there, but I think it's focused. I think I'm locked in. I'm probably, right now I'm touching the lens. And I'm this far away. Yeah, I'm this far. So what is that? 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches away, and I think I can get closer. This is probably about as close as I can get. I can get about 2 inches or so. That's wild. It's pretty incredible. I mean, this lens is fun. I'm really digging this. Now, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to really hack more off this lens hood because it still gets in shot every now and then. You can kind of see it in the top left corner, and I think the bottom right it was a little bit off to the sides right here. It's still there. I think I'm gonna have to literally shave off some more, which is fine. I've already ruined it. I can't put the lens cap back on. Now the biggest bummer for me for this lens, probably the one thing that I don't like about it, you can't put any ND filters on it. No, there's no threading on it. It's kind of a setback, but not a huge one, because there's other things I can kind of do to make that happen, and I may do some videos on that in the future. But again, this is a cine lens, it's for video. When they made this lens, they had in mind that it's gonna be in a rig with, you know, the barn doors, and you can slide in ND filters. That's kind of what this was meant for. I'm using this for something that wasn't necessarily intended for. So I realized I didn't actually explain what T-stop is versus f-stop. So sorry to break it to you if you don't know this, but f-stop is kind of a guesstimate, like a close enough. It's not actually an f2.8 or an f1.8 or 1.4. They're not really those. They're close, but not exactly. So there's actually a website that you can find out the exact f-stop of your lens. I'll link it below. Some are different than other lenses. Some are worse, some are great, some are almost identical, but they're not. So like an f2.8 could actually be a 3.5 in some cases. And so T-stop is actually a transmission of like the light, the actual light. The best way for me, I always remembered it, it's not the actual term, but I always relate T as true f-stop. That's just how I've always done it. So when it says t3.1 like this lens is, it's a true actual 3.1. So there you go. That's the difference between T and F. There's a lot more to it than that, and I may do a video in the future, but there you go. Just so you know, a little bit more about what that is. There you go. And so to answer the big question at the beginning, can you use the Rokinon 10mm on the Panasonic GH5? And I'll say yes. That is a definitive answer for me, because one, I'm probably mainly going to be using this in here, this studio, if you will, because I just love this shot. It's crispy, it's beautiful. I'm still working on lighting. It's not perfect, but it's getting there, and I'm definitely liking the images coming out of this. I can use it outside. I have to turn image stabilization off, and I didn't realize how much I relied on that. I only recently discovered you can turn it off. Even with the in-body stabilization turned off, you're still gonna get the side pieces of that lens hood, so you have to shave them. There's unfortunately no way around it. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Do you have this set up? Do you have something that maybe works a little bit better? Leave a comment below. I would love to hear and see all your guys' amazing stuff. So be sure to lick that bell, because you don't want to miss one of my next videos. I got some good stuff planned, so you don't want to miss it. I'm just another Chris, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya. Let's go.